Inspiring, innovating. For 100 years, Cheyenne Mountain Zoo has been here, connecting people to wildlife, to nature, to each other, creating a lifetime of unforgettable experiences. Our guests are still smiling. Our focus is on what's still to come. 100 years later, we're the best we've ever been.
100 years!
Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, a mountain of memories.
Good morning, my friends. It is Wednesday. It is overcast to start the day. I am Matt Meister. You are on Peaks to Plains Weather. This is Mornings with Meister. I am in the Peaks to Plains Weather backyard this morning. Almost a little bit cool, if I may say so myself, thanks to the overcast behind the cold front that came in yesterday and made things feel, I think, really, really good. It was hotter in the mountain valleys than it was over the plains yesterday. And we get this transition day today before we get into a definite stretch here heading into the weekend. But good morning to you. I've got my squash roast from the Peaks, from American Classic Coffee here, my Peaks to Plains weather mug. We get one more drink of that, put that back here so we can get underway on this Wednesday morning. How are you doing? Thanks for checking in here, starting your day with me on Peaks to Plains Weather. Let's jump into where we were yesterday. Denver was only 73 after setting records on Tuesday. Oh no, today's Wednesday. Oh my gosh. Monday, setting records. Yesterday, 73. It wasn't too far off of a record low yesterday morning. Colorado Springs, we hit 78. We were in the 70s in Teller County. Lots of 80s over the plains. And you see some 90s in the mountain valleys yesterday. Salida was there, Alamosa was there. And so it was hotter there on the western slope, central part of the mountains, than what we had across lower elevations. This morning, try to look at Pikes Peak from the west side of Colorado Springs. It's overcast. That's kind of a nice thing here to start the day. It means we've had some cooler air move in, maybe a little bit of a tease here for the season. I don't think up in the Front Range we keep these clouds around long. Pueblo, Colorado Springs, Canyon City will get rid of these things over the next couple of hours and kind of erode it from west to east through the morning. We'll keep them around longest out across the far eastern plains. We had smoke around yesterday with the cooler air. My son and I were doing some disc golf. He loves disc golf. When he's here for the summer, I try to get out there with him. Daughter's in Montana right now with friends. Let me tell you something. That girl that had high school graduation in May is living what I call fake summer. She just has been doing all kinds of things. Good for her, love her, getting ready for the next stage of life, starting here at the end of the month, heading off to college. My son heads back before her for cross-country camp, so I'm trying to spend some time with him. And we were doing some disc golf yesterday. Beautiful sunset at Cottonwood Creek Park, as you can see. In terms of the smoke today, around the surface, we'll still keep some around. I don't think it's going to be as thick as yesterday. I think we'll see some improvement overnight tonight. And then above the surface, we should get a little bit of improvement during the day today. But with all of the big fires over the west and the Pacific Northwest in particular, as the high builds back in over the weekend here, we are going to have a couple of days of continued smoke. I don't think that's going to go anywhere. So, just plan for that. It'll certainly impact things if you're going to be out and about. It's 53 in Monument this morning with overcast, as you can see. Air Force Academy, you don't see shadows on the cars there because of the overcast. Pueblo, we've got overcast, and it's 60. So regardless of where you are this morning, we are feeling the impacts, at least east of the mountains, of this cool front. And a lot of us, even in the mountain valleys, are a little bit cooler than this time yesterday. Temperatures starting out in the 40s over the mountain areas. That's a sign of the season. It is 44 as we start off in Gunnison. Salida in the mid-40s as well. And 50s and 60s over the plains, low 50s over the Palmer Divide. So, like I said, it feels a little bit different outside this morning than how it's been as of late. How are you this morning? Ann is checking in. She says, good morning all. I know Ann has her American Classic coffee. She always does. Ann, thanks for starting your day with us here on Peaks to Plains Weather. And we'll jump into our short-term forecast because as we move through the next couple of days here, well, the heat is going to come back. And you may not be excited about that, but unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. Reason for that here is area of high pressure starting to build back northward off to our west. And that trend is going to continue here the next few days. And so the impacts of this little dip in the jet stream that you see over the Central Plains, bringing in the slightly cooler air for yesterday and today, or I don't even know where I got slightly. I mean, it was cooler. That's going to get out of here, unfortunately. Today's kind of this transition day. We had some storms around a couple of mountain areas yesterday. We had a couple in Colorado Springs. Strongest ones were around Trinidad. Had a severe thunderstorm warning for that. Rachel was on doing live coverage with that. So if those of you that were in the severe thunderstorm warning, you got the little digital shoulder tap from us. She let everybody know about the live coverage we were doing. That's kind of how Peaks to Plains Weather works. So if you haven't downloaded the Peaks to Plains Weather app yet, you totally should. You should tell friends about it as well when things are high impact or life-threatening. That's how we can let you know about that. And there is some energy for storms today, but there's also a cap in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. And right on the edge of that cap where we have the storm energy, all kind of bounce back and forth between those two things, especially down across the Raton Mesa, is where we may see a storm here later on today. Everybody else is going to mainly be dry. So by 11 o'clock, you can see those low clouds. We're kind of working on them from west to east. We'll hold on to them longest along the Arkansas River and over the far eastern plains, but we get rid of those into the afternoon. And not that I'm expecting a lot of storms, I just don't want to sound the all clear kind of south of Highway 160. Nothing severe out there today, mainly quiet. Some storms in western Kansas could produce an outflow that might fire up a storm in the late evening over our counties near Kansas. That's about it. And like I said, those storms aren't going to be overly strong. Temperatures today in the Big Mountain Valleys, Maybe a better chance of hitting 90 for spots that were in the upper 80s yesterday, so like Saguache in the northern San Luis Valley. And our temperatures certainly warm up a little bit for Denver, for Colorado Springs. We're back into the 80s, and we don't move a lot south of there along the river and in the Raton Mesa. So it's still a relatively cool day compared to what's coming, because by the time we hit Thursday, the 90s return. We probably miss out on 100, or if we get there in a couple spots, it's only in 1 or 2 towns. But the 90s return for Colorado Springs, for Denver, and so the heat is back on here, and that trend continues into Friday. I'll show you that in a second. And the other thing is, it's not only a hot stretch that we're kind of starting, but a dry stretch as well. On Skycast, maybe a high base storm down near the New Mexico line. That's about it. We have Friday, we're in the triple digits again, and we add a couple degrees here as we move through the weekend, and I think we get close to some records by the time we start talking Sunday into Monday. But crew, things start to change into next week as well, and that's some good news. We'll talk about that when we come back here a little bit. Told you Ann was on the coffee. She says the American Classic coffee is so delicious and Spence spoils us. I agree. If you haven't tried his coffee, go to AmericanClassicCoffee.com, put Peaks in checkout, and you'll get 10% off your first bag. Once you fall in love with it, and I know you will, you get 15% off if you have kind of a recurring order, a subscription going. It's certainly worth it. Take a short break, come back with the extended forecast right after this. We're in the Peaks to Plains weather backyard on this overcast start to the day on Peaks to Plains weather, our weather together.
Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
Employee pricing is over, but at Phil Ford in Motor City, American value still means something. Colorado's best season, Phil Long's biggest discounts of the year, 0% financing, no payments for 90 days, and I'll throw $1,000 towards your down payment. Plus, get a complimentary 2-year premium maintenance plan.
That's the Phil Long way.
We'll beat any deal by $750, and we'll prove it only at the original Ford store in Motor City.
For over 20 years, my family, like so many of you, has proudly been part of Broncos country.
Every season, we feel the energy, passion, and commitment that defines this team.
And now, we are honored to be the official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos.
Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
Hey Peaks to Plains viewers, this is John over here at Petrali Roofing. It's hail season here in Colorado, and you might think that your roof doesn't have hail damage, but think again. Hail damage is hard to spot from the ground. That's why Petrali Roofing does free 21-point inspections. Give us a call today. We'll come out and take a look. And if we do find hail damage and your roof qualifies for a re-roof, you'll get $250 off if you choose us to do that installation. So give us a call today, 719-375-8773. Have us come out and take a look today.
All right, it is time to take a look here at our extended forecast, which has a shift on the way into next week that I think you're going to like. I'm in the backyard this morning. Peaks to Plains weather backyard made possible by F&B Landscaping and Hydrix Colorado Tree Farm Nursery. And let's jump into the extended forecast because we've still got the cool front that is across eastern Colorado, like I said, and it's going to start to transition here. In fact, watch what the temperatures do. The cooler air that we're getting the western edge of starts to build. You can see the ridge kind of getting going here over the next several days. You're looking at the temperatures aloft at about 12,000 feet. I use these to forecast our temperatures at the surface here in Colorado, and you can clearly see where the ridge starts building in, and cooler air over the eastern United States will give them a little bit of a break. So here's Saturday as we start off the weekend, and we've got this high that's kind of centered off to our west here. And that is what's going to drive our extended stretch of hotter and drier weather. As I said, we're kind of in northwest flow here around this ridge, so we may get some smoke from time to time. That's something that we should be aware of. But look what happens as we head into next week. We start to get this monsoon tap building here over the west. And as we move into the start of the week, there's a little wave up across the northern plains that'll send a cold front in here. You kind of see that little kink in the flow. That starts to open the door for some low-level moisture as well. So the monsoon's thickening up. The high's starting to shift off to the southeast, which is good news. That's the best place it can be. So we start to kind of curl the monsoon across Colorado, and we get that little front to come in that helps to pull the temperatures back and gives us some surface upslope. And so that's some good news. For the rest of the week there, you see that during the daytime hours, the model's pretty excited about some storms, not only over the mountains, but over the plains as well. So crew, that changes up our extended forecast here. After being close to some records over the weekend and a hot day on Monday, the trend next week is for not as hot of temperatures and for daily storms around. And the storms will be efficient rain producers. I think there's a chance of some pretty good rain around here, kind of like what we had last week if you got hit by one of the storms. So of course that means we got to keep our eye on the Aspen Acres fire, but we need moisture still. I showed you what Rachel did yesterday, and if you missed that, that's on the Peaks to Plains Weather 24/7 channel, about talking about how we've had some heavy rain, but we've still got drought conditions and we need more. And even in Pueblo, we'll pull the numbers back, maybe to around 90 for next week, and have a chance of daily storms. East of the mountains, we really open the door for everything on Tuesday when the front gets here. If it arrives early enough on Monday in the Pikes Peak region, we might have a chance of storms. But next week, this is a really good spot. It's what we look for. It's the ideal situation for Colorado. It doesn't mean that you are going to get a storm every day, but they do, are going to be out there, like I said, and they will have some decent rainfall with them. Over our local mountain communities, we get the impact starting late in the weekend here of the monsoon beginning to shift from west to east. So if you're camping on the western slope, we'll start to see some storms around Saturday. They become more likely on Sunday, and we start to see the chance of at least an isolated storm east of the Continental Divide on Sunday. And then our mountain areas get in on the action next week as well, and we may get a couple days in there where the storms are really widespread, slow moving, and so the potential for some wetting rain certainly in our forecast. We've been watching this for more than a week now. We'll keep talking about it. We'll work on the details as it gets closer, but it certainly is something that we need out there. All right, Susan's checking in from Palmer Lake this morning. She's got some fog. She's up against the hills there. So I'm looking at the cloud deck that Susan's actually in Palmer Lake this morning. Susan, thanks for checking in. And Kathleen says good morning as well. Kathleen, thanks for starting your day with us here on Peaks to Plains Weather. And Isaac, he's a musician. Isaac, I'm still going to do something with that song. I just am drowning, bro. I'm going to get to it, though. But he says, from the thunder to the rain, that's Peaks to Plains. Bring it on. We need the moisture. I agree with you. And then Deb's looking way out into the future. When will the snow start flying? Well, I'll tell you what, Deb, there's opportunity for maybe a big storm or two as we head into this winter. One of the things that when you go back and you look at the data, our once every 5-year, 10-year type birds are more likely when there's an El Nino than when there isn't. It's because that impacts the position of the jet stream. It's a little farther south, and so you get the likelihood of these mature mid-latitude cyclones of being in the vicinity or just to our south. And sometimes those are actually more likely kind of early and late in the season than they are in the middle of winter, because the atmosphere has a little more oomph in it. There's a little more temperature contrast. The jet stream's a little bit stronger. So we will keep our eye on that. And then Isaac's like, Deb, yes, way to go. Look at that. We're getting each other fired up here at the end of our mornings with Meister. The clouds will clear out, crew. If you are just joining us here, I'll end with this. I'll show you kind of where we expect the next few hours to go. I will start off, or I'll show you here our newest Peaks to Plains weather camera. In fact, we are going to be growing our network here over the next days and weeks and months. We are usually looking at Pikes Peak here from Kissing Camels on what is a beautiful shot. It's 51 this morning. The humidity is high. Over the next couple of hours, against the hills, we'll start to erode the low cloud cover, and we'll work on the far eastern plains through the back half of the morning and get some sun here as we head into the afternoon. So that is our beginning of our day on Peaks to Plains Weather. And Jim says, hey, I tell you what, the weather wall looking pretty lush back behind me. Must be the fertilizer. I do have a little Yorkie. He's pretty good at dropping some small fertilizer, if you know what I'm saying. Jim's getting a good chuckle about that right now. That's it for me this morning, my friends. Have a great day. Thanks for checking in to start your morning with Peaks to Plains Weather Mornings with Meister. I appreciate it. Have a great Wednesday.
We don't know what the weather is going to be like around here. I do get really anxious during storms.
That's why they chose HailGuard. When performance leads, confidence follows. Backed by the first and only asphalt shingle system with a hail warranty.
That just gives us more peace of mind.
This is the only asphalt product on the market that has the manufacturer warranty targeting the hail damage, and it gives me a lot of confidence as a contractor.
Engineered for enhanced impact performance. Built to protect homes and reputations. HailGuard shingles. Built for hail.